Sorry for the little break in proceedings, but here we are, Chapter 11, Where Did Your Heart Go? Part 2. Thursday the 10th of March 1988. Once in my room I put the mixtape on the stereo and Sarah pulled open my wardrobe doors. "So what do you think you'll be doing at James's?" she asked. "Oh, probably going swimming," I said, finding my favourite bikini. "I think he's taking me out for a meal for my birthday," I continued. Sarah pulled out two of my dresses. I stared at both of them and then chose the newer one and carefully folded it into my bag. Then with jumpers, t-shirts, a couple of skirts following the dress, it was soon full. "What about underwear?" she said. I blushed and opened my drawer, wishing I had more sophisticated sets to choose from instead of just my plain black and white ones. I couldn't wait to share such a special one with my boyfriend, my first boyfriend. Friday the 11th of March 1988. My mum and dad gave me some money for my birthday and some clothes, so I crammed them into my bag before I left for school. Sarah had bought me some body spray, June and Amanda the usual bubble bath and a book voucher. They had been so jealous when I told them what I was doing for my 17th birthday. I was standing with the others by the gate when I saw a familiar red Mini belting up the road. "Do I look okay?" I asked, as it appears James has come to fetch me. June and Amanda's jaws dropped as the Mini came to a halt right in front of the gates. In fact, most of the school crowd had done the same, and they were all staring at the red Mini and the gorgeous guy getting out of the driver's seat. I ran the short distance that separated us, and he pulled me into his arms, seemingly not worried that hundreds of kids were watching as he kissed me. Then all I could hear were whoops and cheers and feel the weight of jealous stares from some of the other girls in my year as they passed by. "So how did you manage this?" I asked as we drove back to my house. "I got here early and called in to ask your mum if I could come and pick you up," he said. "I just couldn't wait any longer to see you." At my place, I left him downstairs talking to my parents as I quickly changed and grabbed my bag for the weekend. As he drove, he rested his hand on my leg when he wasn't changing gear, or I would rest mine on his knee. All the while we talked about the plans for the weekend. The nerves kicked in as we pulled up on the driveway. Would his parents like me and think I was good enough to be going out with their son? James opened the door and helped me out, giving me a quick hug and kiss. As we walked in, I found myself enveloped in a motherly hug. "Hi, I'm Pam, and this is Peter," she said, motioning to an older version of James. "It's lovely to meet you. James is always talking about you." We sat and had coffee in the kitchen before his mum looked at the clock. "You might want to start getting ready, as I'm sure you don't want to be late for dinner." "Follow me, Steph, and I'll show you the spare room," James said. He picked up my bag and I followed him upstairs. "This is your room, bathroom's across the hall, and my room's here," he said, pointing at the door. "Great, I think I'll have a quick shower," I said. When I returned to the spare room, I found a card and a present on the bed. Still in my towel, I opened the card. It was beautiful and fantastic to see the words "girlfriend" on the front of it. Then I opened the present, and inside was the lovely set of white underwear covered in small black hearts. The bra was my size, and I put it on under my dress for the evening. I struggled with the suspender belt and stockings, but surveying the results in the bedroom mirror, I was shocked at how sexy the whole thing looked. They accentuated my long legs, and I found myself blushing at the sight. Was this what guys really wanted to see when they undressed a girl? I smoothed my dress down and heard a knock on the door. "Are you ready?" "Almost," I replied as I sat down on the bed and slipped my feet into my heels. When I stood up, James helped me into my bolero jacket. At the same time, he brushed his lips over the nape of my neck, which got my pulse racing and made me blush all over. "Thanks for the present, it's beautiful. And just the right size. How did you manage that?" "I sneaked a look in your cupboards at home when I was over, but I did cheat a bit and got my mum to choose and buy it for me." The restaurant was fantastic. I felt a bit overwhelmed as we were shown to our table. Once we had ordered, I started to relax as we drank orange juice. We had white wine with the meal, and I soon found it was going to my head a bit. However, we had soon finished our sumptuous chocolate dessert and it was time to go home. After wishing his parents good night, we went upstairs. "Would you like to come and listen to some music in my room?" I smiled when I saw the elephant next to the fire engine model on his shelf. "I like your display," I said, motioning to the shelf above the bed. I shrugged off my jacket and stepped out in my shoes. Pulling me into his arms, his lips came down to meet mine and we kissed for ages. I felt his hands running up my stocking-clad legs, but only to the hem of my dress, although this seemed to be higher than usual. "Shall I take the stockings off?" I asked. "Let me," James said, as he found the catches on the belt and then rolled them to the floor. His hand slid over my smooth skin, as once more he pulled me into his embrace. We heard his parents heading to bed, and we stopped kissing. "I guess I better go to bed now," I breathed. "I guess so," James replied, reluctant to let me go. Standing up, I smoothed down my dress. "Good night, James," I said. "Thanks for a wonderful birthday." "It was my pleasure. Night, Steph," he said, as he watched me leave. Alone in the spare room, I undressed and thought about how daring I'd been to let James remove my stockings. I left my knickers on and then pulled on my nightshirt and snuggled under the duvet. That was when I saw the door open and James crept in. "I was cold and missing you," he whispered. Surprised but happy to see him, I pulled aside the duvet and he jumped in next to me. We cuddled up and started to kiss again, slowly at first, but then the kisses became more urgent. I pulled back a bit, afraid of this going too far too quickly. So then we just curled up together. I was very aware of his body pressed against mine and I trembled. This was the first time I had ever shared a bed with a man. But as our breathing slowed, we fell asleep in each other's arms. Charlotte was amazed at her mum's self-restraint, and also that of James. What a cool guy. Craig had been eager to go straight from kissing to sex, and in a way Charlotte knew that it was her saying no the last time they were together that had probably triggered the split. Although many of her friends had already lost their virginity as young as 14, she was not as eager. She wanted love as well as sex, and it was hard to find. Closing the diary, she heard her phone ping, and a text was there from Craig. He wanted to make things up to her, and was sorry for dumping her. Charlotte just deleted it and turned her phone off, her mind already made up that she was not prepared to settle for second best. She wanted the works. And will she get the works? Well, we'll have to find out in next week's instalment as the story progresses. Once again, I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, please press the like button underneath the video. Please feel free to share it with any of your family and friends. And if you really can't wait till next week, then don't forget that my book is available now to buy for only 99p on amazon.co.uk, or I think it's $1.54 on amazon.com for any Americans and anyone else from around the world that's listening. And you can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. I'd love to hear your comments, and I always like to have a chat, so don't forget. And I shall see you again soon. Take care and bye for now.